Okay, so looking at our thing here, I think what we should add to our site system is I'm going to duplicate our site system. Right, so we have two of them. So this one I'm going to bring the range down. So he's a higher priority, and he's gonna lead right to a chasing state. This one's a higher range, but he's lower on the list. He's going to go to a alerted state, to which we will smooth look at the scene target, and we'll just do a wait for say 2 seconds, and then from there we'll also bring this guy in as well. So this one still runs that same range of 15. Then here we are going to add the sight again, but this time it's going to be at 25, and also go to the chase. And we're also going to add a next frame event, just kind of a way to say, oh, you know, you didn't see him, let's fail, and we can go back here. Right, so this is our alerted. This is like alerted part 2. So that should allow us to come into here, gets alerted, nothing happened, gets alerted, and he goes to a chase state. Now the alerted there, I think what I would want to do is agent reset path. Let's tell the AI to stop. And we can't use the scene object because that's going to be a null from this guy. So we're trying to look at a null. So what we ultimately need to do here, if we have the alerted one, we're going to use a different here. Sus. Right, this guy can maintain the scene target, but we're going to be looking at the sus. So now our AI should stop and try to look at us. Right, so he's wandering around and we're like, oh. Right, but we moved away in time, so he just went back. He's looking, went into a chase. Perfect. So we have those two things. I think there's two things we want to do. We want to add some visualization. It's a key thing to games. You really need visualization. So we're going to add another FSM to our AI. We'll just call it effects. On the player, I'm going to add an FSM. Get rid of our capsule. Add a little character controller. And get axis vector. We'll just call it V. And simple move to the V at a speed of like 4. Just real basic simple character, so that I can move them around so I'm not dragging them with the mouse. And of course everything is ass backwards because I got the camera facing the wrong way. So let's line the camera up here, and let's do relative to the camera. Alright, Alright, so there we go. Now my speed's slow as hell. So we need to speed that up because that's crazy. There we go. Now I can actually drive around. Be like, oh my god! But you notice how, like, when he's seen us, it went to an instant chase there. So the other thing I want to do is, like I said, on the effects. What if? Let's go down to our AI for a minute. What if our AI had a, well, he's a world canvas. I'm not a big fan of world canvases, but I'm going to do it anyways. So world space canvas. We'll just shrink it right down. I'll put it up above their head. Now let's make it a little bigger than that. Oh. There we go. I'm going to add a quick little FSM just so that this thing always looks at the camera. Look at camera all the time. Do not keep vertical. And in this, we are going to add some images. And I happen to, prior to making the video, went to itch and grabbed some emojis. Just basic, simple stuff, nothing crazy. And we're going to have a happy face. And we're going to change that happy face based on our state. Right, so there's our guy there. So our camera is apparently in a really crappy spot. There we go. Let's put it like something along like that. Alright, so let's copy that. Orthographic 121. And that's just to see things. So his canvas might have been a little small. Let's go 0.025. See if that's a little better. I'm going to move it up then a little bit more. Let's go 3. So we have our expression. And I'm actually going to have that deactivated to start with. So in the effects, we're going to have some states here. So we have happy, alerted, and chase so far. So we're just going to bring those in. Happy, alerted, and chase. So all we're going to do is, if in happy, we are going to make sure that's activated, and we want to also set the sprite to this little happy sprite. And then we're going to wait, say like 2 seconds, go to a finish, and we're just going to deactivate it. Just simple like that, right? And you know what, let's copy those and just paste. Change this guy over to the alerted and this guy over to the chase. So if we're alerted, let's use maybe that one. No, it's definitely, yeah, let's use this guy. It's a good one. And then this guy could be the, where's that angry face? There we go. Definitely the angry face. All right, so we can always add sound effects and all sorts of fun little stuff. So in here, let's send event to the ourselves, to the effects, to be happy. Move that to the top. Copy that, and if we're here, then we're going to send the chase, and if we're over on this side, we'll send the alerted. Alright, so now we should have at least a little bit of visuals. We can kind of see his state. And we don't have to deactivate it, it's just me being me. Right, so he's happy. Oh, he's alerted. Oh, he's angry. Right. So there we have at least some sort of visual. The other thing we want to add is in our perception, I am going to add a new object, and it's going to be a sphere. Actually, position doesn't matter, so it's going to be a trigger. I'm getting rid of all this crap. We're going to add a new layer, and it's going to be called hearing, and that could be here, and this could be our ear. There's numerous ways to do this one. This is just kind of an easier way to do it. So that means in our perception, in this guy here, we're actually going to have an FSM. And in the FSM, we're going to have a bool. I've heard something, and this thing is also going to have a we'll call it an event called here, and we will get event properties heard position, and it's going to be a type vector, and we'll call it the same name. Set bool value heard something to true, and then we can wait even 2 seconds is probably fine. And set that to false. Move that up there, move him down here. Alright, so now we have this hearing something. In the AI and the behavior, we're going to have another thing here where we can just run a FSM bool test. If you don't have FSM bool test, you can use get bool and then test. If you want the FSM bool test, because it just makes life easier, it's on the ecosystem. So we're going to say to our ear, to our hearing, heard something every frame, and if it's true, we have heard something. And we can run off to a new state. Now, what does that mean on our end, or on anything that's going to generate noise? So let's make an FSM here and call it our noise. So to help visualize the noise, I'm going to create an effect. Particle system. If you've never created particle systems, and this is kind of a bit of a crash course on particle systems. So effect wise, I'm going to make a material, This will be our sound wave. And it is not going to be standard. It is going to be a particle. It is going to be unlit. It's going to be cut out. No, it'll be transparent. And that's probably fine. So in the particle system, in the renderer, I am going to put this here. So we have these big stupid white squares. Well, we don't want white squares. Let's go mesh, and let's choose a sphere. So now we have a sphere. Okay, cool. That doesn't frickin' help us at all. We'll keep looping on for now. Emission. Let's go 8. And shape, I'm going to do let's do a sphere. And that's it. Speed is 0. Lifetime, probably say 0.5. So now we have this kind of weird thing happening. Cool, cool. Start size, let's go 10. That might be kind of cool, maybe 15. And now that looks silly, I know. Believe me, I know. So we want to do, what was I color over lifetime? Let's go with green. And over here we can go, maybe it fades into a red. And let's go up here, drop the alpha down. Take this guy, drop the alpha way down as well. Something like that. Alright, so the other thing we want to do is size over lifetime. So now we have something like that. Might look a little better. So I'm taking emissions down. Let me bring this color out. Sure, like that. And I don't know why my transparency doesn't seem to be doing fuck all. So let's do additive. Nope, that's not it. Color. That. Yeah, no, we don't want cutout. There we go. That's a little better. So now let's go into our color and bring this guy down. That's a little better. I don't want to go too high on that. Let's not make it looping. Give it a duration of 1. And start size. Radius. I'm just going to go 0.1. So it's pretty much in one little spot. Emission. That's looking a little better. I guess it's really not that important, but you know. it is what it is, I suppose. You could add noise. You could do all sorts of things. You can use rings and stuff. All right, so this is our hearing effect. So he is on, not on looping. Okay, let's prefab him. Ba-doop. Now, normally you'd want to pool it. I'm not going to bother setting a pooling system up right now, but we are going to create an object and we're going to put it at our cells as a spawn point. Maybe we'll destroy it though. Destroy object. We'll destroy our little created after like, I don't know, 1.5 seconds. So we've created them. So let's just go something simple. Let's do get key down. I'll just use space and make noise. That's what we're doing. We're just going to go make noise, zip over here, do that, and come back over here. I won't bother putting in a weight. All right, so now we should have I really got to put the, I'm gonna start my player in a better spot, that's for sure. Right, so we have this. If I hit space now, we can see that I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm making noise. Right? Okay, cool. What the hell good is that? What does that do? How does that affect this? And all we're going to do is, let's do this. Let's do overlap. Get overlap sphere. I wonder if I should do a, let's do an array list version. I like the array list versions better. So that means we need an array list. Array list proxy. Just call it sound. Scan range. What's going to be our hearing sound? 30? Sure. And that would obviously change depending on what you're doing, right? Not all sound's going to go to a distance of 30. So the layer mask is going to be hearing. All right, so we do an overlap sphere. Now, I meant to do that. So let's find ears. Okay, now that we found ears, let's do an array list count. And if sound I don't know if we actually have to do this part, but force a habit, I suppose. If count is greater than 0, let's send sound. If it's equal, then skip. Alright, so we're going to add in our skip and send sound. So send sound will just go to, skip will go down here because we still need to play the effect no matter what. And if we're going to send sound, array list get next. And again, we're going to go through that same list. We add in our loop. Always got to have a loop. Done. Type current. These are our ears. We'll call it the current ear that we are currently looking at. We add our loops and our dones. When we're done, we're going to go here. As we're looping, we will set event property. And let's get position of ourselves so that we can send all that stuff over. So we want to set the event properties of heard position, and it is a type vector 3, and it is that. We want to send an event to, and just so I get the references right, appearing here. Swap that back over to the current ear, and that's it. We just can go back over there. So let's make sure that event is the right event. Herd position. Yeah, it is good. So if we go into the ear, it sounds bad. All right, where is our player? There we are. And I hit space. We made our sound, right? So it gets the position. Currently says false, but you notice how the AI, not that he has really any logic to do anything with it, but he's like, whoa, I heard something. What the hell? Right? So, cool. So let's send an event to our effect system to be alerted. And what else should we do? Let's copy this. Let's reset our path. Let's get FSM vector 3 from our ear. We're going to go into our ear. That poor ear, everyone's just going into our ear. To our herd position, and this is going to be our sus position. Alright, so we're going to go into our ear, and we could always use that as a variable, right? I mean, if you want this to be somewhat scalable, then you're going to want to do stuff like that. So you're not, because if you want to duplicate this and put this on numerous AI, you don't want to be like, oh my god, I go into all these things, and right, like even with eyes, right? It just makes life a lot easier for having to duplicate all this stuff. Right, so now, so we have ears, we also have eyes. Eyes need to be an input. All right, because now we can turn around and be like, okay, those are our eyes, that is our ear. Right, so if we put this on other AI, it's nice, easy swap. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to stop, we're going to get the position, and then we're going to look at, we'll do a smooth look at direction. We're going to look at the sus position, and then we're going to wait. Move to the bottom, and we'll only wait for 1.5 seconds, and we'll finish that. So this is kind of our initial, oh, what was that? And then we're going to set agent destination. And we always could add a little bit of a variance, like an offset to it, random offset, but then we're going to head there. Now, while this is happening, we want site, but we'll add that in after. So we're going to set that. Now, once we get there, so we get, no, let's do get distance to, I said that's the ecosystem action for distance, of ourselves to that position, and that's going to be distance to target. Float compare, and if our distance to target is, we'll say below 3, if we're less than that, let's search. And that needs to be every frame. Right, so we're going to start searching. And what is a search? You know what we're going to do? We are going to wander. Right, so now we can put a little wander. Now we're going to do the weights because that'll be more of a and this would be a great place to add the animations. So we'll have the nice wait times, but the wander distance we're going to bring it down to like, I don't know, 6. So it's like he's just kind of going around this one little area, right? And then we're going to wait. You know, I don't know, 8 seconds. We'll use finish here, and then we're going to go back up. But obviously now, during this, you would also have these sites, right? So we're going to put that here, because we want those 2 events. And we're going to put them here.
Can you make
And let's put that here. Add those states here, right? So if need be, any point in time during this, something happens and he sees the player, he's just going to swap over and do the chase. And if he thinks he sees the target, same idea, right? So it's kind of like it's part of the alert, but this is the hearing alert. Right, so where's our player? We're still in a bad spot. You know, I'm going to change my material. Because my player is hard to see and I lose him, and I don't like losing myself. It's just it's a bad habit. There we go. So we have Joe Blow is happy. Our player comes in. Oh, get alerted. And if I go doop, make a sound, he's like, what's going on? See how he's going there? Now he's like, hey, I'm going to start scanning this area. Now we could add, which we didn't add, but I mean we could add another sound thing as he's scanning. If he hears another sound, he should update his position, right? I never added that in, but we should probably add that in, right? Because I don't. But during that, if he happens to see us, he's like, oh my god. Yeah, so there is sound effects. I added that. A little bit of a hearing system. Added the second site. Player controller and the effects. I think that's pretty much everything I want to kind of cover. Not like the video was too long. Hopefully it was jam-packed full of information. Tons and tons of stuff here. So one of the things that we can also do, I'm not going to add it right now, is we're basing sight off of the player, but we might want to, okay, say what if the player leaves footprints, right? That could be a sight object, not hearing, but it's a sight that leaves alert to follow. So there's kind of additions there that we can also add on to. But I think it's probably good for a video now. I don't want to get too depth into anything else, or the video will go on forever. But I think maybe next time we will come out of our wandering system here, right? Wandering system is great, say down here, or there's going to be other situations where it's also good, or if you like the wandering system, if you're making an animal, then that's fine. But maybe we'll swap this out and create a patrol system. And what we'll do is we'll start to build a contextual object. So for the AI, you would want an object that all AI kind of feed into, almost like this blackboard system of world events and world things. And that's where a lot of the data comes in. Where if the AI is going to patrol, where does he get the patrol routes? That's going to be held into this one object. If he works, where are these positions of working, or where's the food? And a lot of the information is going to be held into a kind of this more of this global object that all AI can interact with, right? So these are more of the more solid building blocks and the effects of the AI himself, and this has to be extended into a separate system, a higher system of a globalized, I guess you could say. But anyways, I think that's probably pretty good for now. We're expanding our AI, and we've done lots. So I'll talk to you guys later.